Hi, Rachel. Having some technical difficulties here. Give me a minute. For some reason my internet's not working up here. Sure, I'm connected. Oh, there we go. Now I can see everybody. Hi, Odd. How are y'all doing? Y'all doing okay? Well, I have some. Well, good. Good. I'm doing okay. I got a pulled muscle in my neck. Did it the other day. I'm gonna. Okay, okay. Like I said, I pulled a neck muscle the other day, and it had gone away. I've been putting heat on it, and today, my mom had her appointment, and I was looking the wrong way for too long, and it made it come back. So my neck's stiff. It's just me tonight. Megan's been over here helping us pack, so she needed time to catch up on her things. Kind of, I'm gonna move this around. Waiting on more people to get here before I start talking, so I don't have to repeat myself. I got some good news today. I've made progress on my painting. I'm down below a dress, so I haven't been able to do much because we've been packing. But I have worked on it some, not a whole lot. My goal was to do at least 5 minutes a day, but I haven't done that. But when I have sat down, I've sat down for like 10, 15 minutes. I've gotten a little done. Maybe when I get moved, if the baby's having more room to play in, I can go and paint some more during the day. Because that's when I need it the most, is during the day. With watching the babies and, it's like when they leave, I'm so tired. I know it'd probably be a good stress reliever from when they're gone, but when they're gone, all I want to do is sit down and rest. This is Tuesday, right? Hi, Dee. How are you doing, Dee? I said I've got some good news. about the move. It was a little disappointing today, but at least an end is in sight. We got a move date. I'm really excited about that. What color do you have it dyed now? I used to dye my hair. In high school, there was this product. I don't know if y'all know it, but it's called Sun In. And you spray it on your hair, and then when you're in the sun, it lightens it. And the more you're in the sun and the more you use it, the lighter your hair gets. And then I used to dye the light red. My husband's a big redhead person. I've got kind of reddish brown streaks in my hair, but I really love red hair. Now I like purple, and I think if I was a little younger, I'd probably paint it purple, but I'm kind of outgrown that stage. I think I'm a little too old for purple hair. My pad keeps, my hand keeps touching it, and it's making it dim. Okay. I did that one time. I put that strippener in, and it turned my hair white, and then I colored it right after that. Oh, that's cute. It's kind of reddish too, isn't it? See, that's the kind of color I had when I dyed it. But yeah, I had stripped my hair one time, and it turned it white. And then I tried dyeing my hair, and I don't know what happened, but something messed up, and my hair was funky for a long time. Because you can't turn around and re-dye it and re-dye it like that, especially after you strip it off. And I looked funny for about 2 months because I waited 2 months to re-dye it, and then it looked okay. I think after that I dyed it back as close as I could to my natural color, and just let it grow out for a long time before I ever touched it. Yeah. You know whose hair color I love? And it's Ron Howard's daughter. And if you're Twilight fans, you know that she was Victoria in the last, in like, what was it, New Moon? Because she didn't play the first Twilight movie, but she played in the one after that. And she's got the prettiest red hair. I wish I had that color. But if y'all know Ron Howard, you know he's got beautiful red hair too. What hair he's got left. I always treated mine with I did the shower oil treatments like the VO5. I did them once a month just to keep it. Hi, Jennifer. Just to keep it on the soft side. And then I used BioSilk. And I don't know if y'all know what BioSilk is, but it's a oil-based cream. And I have, like y'all seen my hair, it goes almost to my butt. But even with my long hair, I only use like a nickel size. And you rub it in after you gotten out of the shower. And that stuff works wonderful. Now they've got a coconut BioSilk, and I love coconut, so I've been using it. And that I still have quite a bit of breakage because I keep it pulled back in a ponytail all the time. I keep telling myself I'm going to cut it and, at least like 6 inches to get it healthy again. But I keep putting it off. I haven't had, you know, I've had some money. I've used it on Diamond Art Club, but at the same time, I had the Klarna to where I could pay it out. I love coconut milk. I've got a real nice shampoo that's coconut and it's the real thick kind that I really love. Um, but yeah, I keep putting it off. I want to cut it. I haven't had my hair cut professionally in probably 6 years. So my, you know, if I cut off 6 inches and get it healthy again, it'd probably grow back a lot quicker because my hair's always grown fast. I hate it when I had bangs. I mean, I like the look. In school we had the big fluffy hair and bangs, and I hated it because I had to cut my bangs about every 5 weeks. And I was lucky that my aunt cut hair. I just go to her house and she'd whack whack and it'd be done. Hi Cassie, you're fine. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. I've been working on just some little colors. I've got a lot of free tins to do. I think I'll work on them now. That way I don't have to switch out my colors a lot. But yeah, my wedding pictures when I look at them now, yes, I had free hair and it was fairly long. It was a couple inches past my shoulder. I've always had long hair. I had short hair one time, and that was my sophomore year. And before I went to cheerleading camp, I made the mistake of cutting it where it just was at my shoulders, and I had used that sun in, and it turned my hair orange. Used too much of it, and it turned it orange. And so all my cheerleading pictures, cheerleading camp, I had short orange hair. I hated that. Loved my sun in though. I didn't quit using it after that. I just quit using it as much. Oh, you're so sweet, Jennifer. So sweet. I've got some news here. Let me text Elizabeth real quick because y'all know her graduation was Saturday. So I want to see if she's okay with me showing some pictures. Okay, I'll wait for her to text me back on that. But we had the appointment with mom's, the assisted living center she was going on. They had called yesterday, and asked us if we could come in today to finalize the paperwork for her to move in. And no, it was Thursday they called us. And the lady on the phone, we asked her how long it would take for us to move once we did the papers. And she said, you could move in right away. So we were like, yay. So we spent a long time over the weekend. Megan was here last night and did a lot of packing in my mom's room. And so we were excited. I'd called Hightail Whip. I had called the moving company and gave them the date and the addresses and all that. I got to call them tomorrow because long story short here. No, not long story short, but Giving you the long rundown. They told us that we could move in anytime. So I called our cable company and I set up a move time to have them install the cable and the internet over at the house. And that was scheduled for Friday evening. I had went online and I had changed the AT&T phone bill into my credit card because it goes automatically out of my mom's account and I pay her back. And I went online and I switched that out. So I'd done all that, and we go to her appointment today, and they're like, no, if it was just a state that if it was just the state paying for it, then we could have moved in right away. But because Section 8 paid part of it, then they have to come out and inspect the apartment before she can move in. So they're getting that scheduled, but they told us that we could move in 2 weeks. And in 2 weeks is the 18th. So she's got some stuff she's got to get done. She's got to go see her doctor. She's got to have like a TB test or something like that, since it's an assisted living center and there's a lot of sick people. She has to have that test done. She's got to see her doctor to get doctor orders on her medication and stuff. Even though she's been taking it for a long time, they've got to get an updated record from her doctor, so she's got to get that scheduled. It looks like I'll still be taking her to a lot of her appointments. They've got an elderly car service here that's for free. You just have to call them like 3 days beforehand and schedule it. They'll come pick her up, drop her off, and then when she's done, she has to call, and they'll come back and pick her up. So I don't know how she feels about that, having strangers driving her around. So I still might be having to take her to her doctor's appointments and stuff like that. But the Living Center does a group trip to Walmart every Monday. So, she'd be able to get her basic needs. I don't have to take her to the grocery store or anything like that. It would just basically be her doctor's appointment. So I'm going to move the previous weekend. When I move, I just have to check on her because it'll only be, if I move on Saturday, it'll be 3 days. If I move on Sunday, then it'll only be 2 days. And I just have to make sure she has, her dinner meal, because she eats a lot of cereal and bacon, so she can fix that. I just have to make sure she's got, a full meal at night. And it's only, like I said, it's only going to be 2 or 3 days. So I'm going to move that previous weekend. I think it's the 15th or the 16th. Yeah, I'm trying to think I think it's called Sooner Ride, something like that. She always has the option of the bus, but I don't want her on the bus. Her doctor's appointments, we normally know pretty quick. Like her pain med doctor, we know her appointment for the next month when she leaves the doctor's appointments. Her yearly checkup, we know pretty much in advance. The only thing we don't get a big notice on is if she has a dental appointment. She schedules her 6-month cleaning, every time she goes in for a cleaning. But if something comes up, then they normally get her in right away. So if something like that come up, I'd have to take her. But she's had a lot of teeth worked on. She's broken a lot of teeth. She's been really good about keeping her teeth up. We have bad teeth in our family, and she just turned 72. Her birthday was on the 2nd, and she's still, eating. Yeah, I think she broke it on like hard candy or a cough drop or something, and then she's eating something else and broke another one. But she's had pretty good teeth up until now. She's not anywhere close to dentures. A lot of it's her. Yeah, she'll be getting a new camera view. Ain't that exciting? I think what I'm going to do is have two camera mounts, one on one side for like my lives and the other side to do my unboxings. Well, all I have to do is move the camera back and forth. I don't know. I haven't decided. It depends on what kind of um, angle I can get from where I have my easel set. I have an idea of how I want the room to be, but it's a smaller room. Granted, I won't have the boys' bed in here, and I won't have their table and chairs. I won't have their potty chairs. I don't have their big blue rocking horse. So that takes up a lot of room. But if I can get the angle that I want to where I want to put it, I should be able to get a pretty good view. See, right now my head's showing, and I don't like that. But I sit down on my chair, and I went to, yes, it is. Went to scoot it up, and the arm come off. So I've got to, that screw comes undone. When I get moved, I'm going to have Lee fix it. Because I forget to tighten it. For some reason, it's loosening up too much. And I forget to tighten it. So it does that every so often. Okay, Jennifer. Yeah, I'm over halfway done. We're right at the halfway point. No, I think I'm a little over half. Once I get this section done, I'll be, way over half. So finally, an end in sight for all this hassle about moving. I'm glad that's set. Now I have to call the cable company back and reschedule the move for that. I have to call the moving company and reset the date again. I've reset that so many times. I'm sure they're ready to say, hey, just set a time or be done with it. Because I've had them lined up since November. And we scheduled it first in November, and then it got pushed to December. And now it's February. So now I have to call them back. I didn't have the boys today since Mom had her appointment. I told Elizabeth I watched them this morning, but Malachi's off on Mondays and Tuesdays now. But with him working nights, he still needs to sleep on Mondays and Tuesdays. I told her I could keep him this morning and just have him meet us over there at 1:30. And I guess he decided just to keep him. So I missed my little boogers, but it was a nice little break. It'd been better if I could have stayed home and enjoyed it. So now we can slow down on packing up. I'm going to work on the kitchen this weekend and box up what we want to take to Goodwill. We've got some good dishes that we're just not going to throw away, and the house has everything it needs except for a couple things and some of my favorite utensils that I like to work with. Get boxed up the stuff that we don't really use and not going to take with us. I get that boxed up. And then stuff I don't use very often, I got a pastry. It's plastic pastry deal. It's where, you can roll out your dough and not, it saves from messing up the counter. But I don't use very often. I'll use it probably more at the house because my husband loves my egg noodles. And I haven't really done egg noodles here. We've made some pies, and so we've used it for pie crust, but it's not something that we'll use between now and the next 2 weeks. I could pack the deep fryer. I need to clean it up, and I can pack it because that's something that I won't use. The only thing Mom can take kitchen wise is a coffee pot. She can have a coffee pot in her room, but she can't have a toaster or anything like that. But the kitchen is open from like 6 o'clock in the morning till 5:30 in the evening, and she can go in there and eat anytime she wants. The only thing that she'll need to buy is her own coffee that she uses in her room. They do have coffee in the dining room. But as far as, like a toaster or something, she can't use it. And we've got a real nice toaster at the house. We said everything we have is less than 3 years old. I got an immersion blender that I use, but it's something that I can pack. All the food will have to wait till like the night before. I can have all that picked up and just bring Mom her meals other than what she needs for breakfast, and have the refrigerator cleaned out when I move out. I'm thinking about moving Saturday. That way, yes, I'll make good egg noodles. My husband loves my um, chicken noodle soup, homemade noodles and chicken. He loves that. There's a lot I can do, but I'm thinking about moving Saturday. That way I can come over and do, with the girls' help, we can do the majority of the cleaning, clean up my bedroom. I've already started working on my bathroom, so the only thing I'll need to do is just last minute cleaning, re-wiping down the counters and cleaning the mirror. And come over Sunday and vacuum my bedroom and get all that done and get the refrigerator cleaned out. I'm so excited, but I'm not ready. I mean, I'm ready for it. I'm just not ready for the work. I feel sorry for the girls because they're stuck doing it. Can't get any help from the other siblings. And it's been my kids that moved my mom the last 3 times. Nobody else has bothered to help. I'm doing okay, Tail Whip. I had pulled a neck muscle the other day, and I've been putting heat on it, and it had gotten better. But Mom's appointment today, I was facing the wrong way the whole time, and it was like a 2.5 hour appointment. And it started to bother me tonight, or after we got done, and it started bothering me. So when I get off here, I'll need to put heat on it again. I called my pain med doctor. I talked to the nurse there and told her the problems I was having. That I'd never failed a drug test till she come over, and how she drug test me every month, and why would she drug test me every month? And, you know, why should, you know, I'd asked her if I was ever going to get the oxy back. She said no. And I asked her if I was ever going to see Dr. Niel again. She said no. So I called mom's pain med doctor, and they can get me in within a week. So I called them and told them all this about November, December, about her coming out to the waiting room and discuss my drug test. And right there, you know, I mentioned, you know, I said, isn't that a HIPAA violation? And she goes, yeah. And I said, I just need a referral. And, you know, that's the reason why. So she said that she would talk to Dr. Niel about everything, and she'd call me back the next day. Well, she called me back the next day, and she said that Dr. Niel didn't have a doctor to refer me to. And I said, well, I have the doctor. I just need the referral. And she said, well, he would like to talk to you. And on your next appointment, we'll let you see Dr. Niel. I'm like, that would be great, as long as I get to talk to Dr. Niel about everything that's going on. Because if I can't get the proper pain relief that I need to find another doctor. So I'm going to see him on the 13th. And if he can't do what he needs me to, I'm going to tell him that I have a doctor. If he would just refer him, you know, and if he refers me, I'll drop the HIPAA and not report it. But if he insists not to take care of my pain med needs, that's what's going to happen. I, you know, I don't want to leave him, but like I said again, if I can't get the proper pain relief I need to just switch doctors. You know, if I can start seeing him again, I would love to stay there, but I'm tired of being in pain. You know, my pain level on most days are at a 5 and 6. The only time it's lower is when I'm sitting down, but it never falls below like a 4. I'm just in constant pain. What they've got me on now just barely takes the edge off. But that's what's going on with my pain med doctor. I said he'll either give it to me or he'll give me the referral. I don't want to threat him with the HIPAA. But if it comes to that, to get the referral, if he doesn't give me the pain meds I need, then, you know, that's what's going to happen. And he needs to know what she's doing, because if she's doing it with me, she's doing it with other people. And that's what I told the nurse. I said, that was so embarrassing for her to come out there and discuss my drug test in front of people that was out there. And she was like very understanding. They know exactly what I'm talking about because they all knew about it. Because the nurse was like, just wait in the waiting room. And then the receptionist, she's like, I think they want you to wait. And I said, yeah. And I know the receptionist seen her come out and talk to me. But, you know, they can all lie about it. You know, when there's an investigation like that, you know, it's kind of a he said, she said thing. And it just depends on if his office wants to be truthful about it. It wouldn't hurt my feelings if they fired her. Wouldn't hurt my feelings a bit. But I'm like, if she was never going to give me my pain meds back, why did she test me every month just to say, hey, you're not getting them back? And the office normally only drug tested me every 3 months. And she tested me every month for 5 months. I think this has been going on now. It's like, why did she even do that if she never intended to let me have them back? I do understand the position they're in. I know they have to go by what the drug test says, but none of them there was willing to try to help me find out why I was testing positive for this. All they seen was that I'd failed a drug test, and that was it for them. It's black or white. I'm excited to see what he says. And, I hope I don't have to use the HIPAA thing. But if he's not going to give me back my pain meds, I'm going to just tell him. Right, especially here in Oklahoma. Oklahoma had the first lawsuit as far as opiates addiction, and the court ruled a $240 million lawsuit against the makers of the opiates because there wasn't a warning put on the label. The drug company didn't require a warning about the possibilities of addiction. Now, it's not the drug company's fault that the product's been misused. People are getting it without having any problems and then turning around and selling them. But that's with any type of drug that happens with Adderall all the time. College kids go hog wild on Adderall. There's other drugs out there that, has the same thing. So I'm not blaming everything on the drug company, but yeah, we were the first state to get a ruling on that. Now other states are following suit, but it's become impossible for some people to get the pain relief that they need because the doctors are only allowed to prescribe so much. There is exceptions for like when you have cancer, or some disease that it's hard, that you're in pain. But somebody that has like chronic pain like me, arthritis, they can only prescribe a certain dosage and they can't go over that dosage. And it's like my daughter, she can be wiped out on a 5 milligram oxy. That could kick her butt. Whereas I take 10 and it helps, but I have to take it 4 times a day to get any kind of relief. And it says, who's to say my mom's pain isn't worse than mine, but we can only have, it, trying to put my words to it. It's like the doctors aren't allowed to prescribe what they feel the patient needs. They can only prescribe what the state allows them to. And I don't think the state should have taken that out of the doctor's hands. They've limited the doctors. Regular doctors are no longer seeing pain med patients. Now you have to go see a pain med doctor. Because when all this started, my mother was getting her pain meds from her family practitioner, and all that come about. So, she had to be referred to a pain med doctor, and everybody else was. So when that first happened, all these doctors couldn't get in everybody, so she had to wait quite a while before she could get it. Hi, Bianca. 10 works okay for me if I can take them 4 times a day. When I was taking them 3 times a day, I was having too much breakthrough pain. I still have a problem, because taking them 4 times a day, I can take one like every 4 to 5 hours. But towards the end of that 4 or 5 hours, I can't wait till I take the next one because, I'm in pain. And I, I'm just tired of being in pain. It's like once some babies leave, all I want to do is cry. I can't get comfortable at night, so I'm not sleeping again. And I get frustrated and I start crying because I can't sleep because I'm in pain. And, it's just, I don't think it's fair that the state took that out of the doctor's hands. I think the doctor should still have a say in what they feel their patient needs. There's certain medications now they can't prescribe at all unless, they have like cancer or something. Now, I still have my medical marijuana card, but Dr. Nael's business does not accept medical marijuana. If you test positive for marijuana, you can't get paid meds, which I understand. It's no problem. But if the doctor that they refer me to, if I have problems, then it's going to be screw it. I'm just going to do that. I was in pain Saturday. Elizabeth's graduation was Saturday. And when it was over, I wanted to sit down a little longer because I knew the crowds, it was going to take us forever to get outside. And then we stood around and took pictures. And then Megan's boyfriend went around and got the car because the back entryway was closer. And where we had parked, he had a hard time getting out and was sitting there standing. I was bending over, crying because I felt like I was going to fall over. Megan finally come back and she let me lean on her. She's holding me up. I was about to fall over and it was awful. I just cried the rest of the evening. It was not fun. Wait for her to text me back so I can show pictures. Who's leaving? Oh, good night, Cassie. You have a good night. I didn't ask you about your pain and how your pump was working. I've been talking my head off. I hadn't got to talk to you about it. So, which one of these are you working on now? Are you working on Snow White's dress too? Kind of looks like my painting. No, because over here is yellow. Hard to tell what it is. Did you get them too from Diamond Art Club that you sent me? Let me see if I can find my pictures. We didn't really get any good ones of the boys. They were not in the mood by the time we were over. Here is Elizabeth, and she's with my oldest granddaughter. That's Journey, but the little girl is her sister. It's not my grandbaby. Didn't Elizabeth look pretty? My granddaughter is the one in glasses. She turned 10. Ain't that such a good picture? Elizabeth was so beautiful. It was so exciting. There's Elizabeth with Journey's mother. She's kind of turned her life around. She went to school too. Oh, Here's a good one of my Saw. He's my baby. He's the sweet one I was telling you about. That's such a good picture if he didn't have his binky in his mouth. Look at his hair. It's so adorable. I don't think I have one of Brady. That's Saul wanting to get down. But he's smiling. There was another boy his age, and they wanted to. Here's my mother and Elizabeth. They had found a little rock decoration thing in the behind us, and so he was taking the rocks out and he was putting them on the little thing that goes around it. And the boy, he was having fun. And here's Megan and Elizabeth. We were all so excited for her. Got a lot of duplicates. There's just Elizabeth and Journey. Hi, Angie. I'm showing off some pictures of my grandbabies. Here's Brady. He's the oldest one. He's the one that does the disgusting. That's disgusting. That guy in the back, that's Megan's boyfriend. You can't really get a good look at him, but that's Megan's boyfriend. That's my Brady bug. I have a family picture. You can't really tell faces, but it's me, my mom, my sister, her daughter, Malachi, the two boys, Megan, her boyfriend, my niece, my sister's daughter. She's kind of, I say weird, but she's not weird. She's just like the new punk. And she had earrings that were like safety pins. It wasn't safety pins through her ears. It was regular safety pin earrings. And my mother's like, why'd you do that? And my sister told her that she was out of earrings. So my mom assumed that them were safety pins through her ears. And I thought it was cute. But she's kind of on the weird side. She's got, when we met over at her house on Mother's Day, her and her kids walked in. She's got an older son, and he looked like a girl and she looked like a guy. He had the long hair. She had the short hair, and it was shaved on the sides. And I mean, it's a cool look. But he's got hair that's down below his neck. He's got prettiest blonde hair. He never lost his blonde hair. No, all my kids were camel heads. They had blonde hair when they finally got hair. All but Casey. Casey was the only one that didn't have blonde hair. She had the darker reddish streaks like I have. And because she didn't move around like a normal baby, you know how babies, when they move around, hi Angie, how they form that bald spot in the back from where they're moving their head back and forth. Casey never had that because, you know, she never moved her head right. But Megan was born with some black hair, and it all fell out, and it come back super blonde. And Jason was bald, but when he had hair, it was super blonde. And they were blonde and up until their late teens. Not late teens, but like 10 or so. And then they come back with a darker blonde. But it's more like I don't think you could say blonde. It's kind of like a dishwater brown. Megan and Elizabeth both highlight their hair. You know, they get highlights put in them. I hope they don't get mad for me showing pictures. I got a couple of me and Elizabeth that I don't want showing them. I don't like myself in pictures. I'm watching a new TV series on Netflix. It was on regular TV. It's called Blacklist, and it's got James Spade. He's the most popular one, I think, that's on the show. The others are kind of unknowns or unknown to me. But he's America's Most Wanted, and he turned himself in and said that he would turn in bad people, but he yeah, it is. I was just saying that, now that I've gotten this far down, it's going a lot quicker, even though the dress has a little more confetti in it. But it's easy because this side is almost the exact as this, so I can really zip good. I can do this side and then this side and then work on the middle. I haven't done 310s in a while, so that's what I'm doing now is filming 310s, and then I'll be working more on the middle and the sides. But yeah, it's come along really good. I'm happy. But anyway, he turns himself into the FBI and he tells them that he will turn in criminals, but he would only work with this one girl. She had just come out of the academy. She was new. And so they put together a special task force. He would give names and they would go after him. But every time he went after something, he benefited from them. It's like he'd set up a drug ring or a drug bust for them, and then he would turn around and find a way to steal the money from like the drug bust. He always came out on top. There was always some kind of hidden agenda about why he turned in certain people. And I just started. I don't remember if it's season 5 or season 6. There's 6 seasons, and I just started either the beginning of season 5 or 6. I'm not for sure. I'm thinking it's 5. So that's a pretty good show. I hate it when I turn it off because I'm glued to it. There's a lot of shooting going on and stuff like that. And he does a lot of the killing himself, but he gets away with it because he's working with the FBI. I have a natural wave around my shoulders, and when I had shorter hair, it was wavy. But when it got longer, the it kind of pulled the curly out or the wave out of it. My son Jason, when I went to see him, he had the long, pretty hair, and it curled around his ears to where it hadn't quite grown out enough. He wore it down, it curled up around his ears, and he had the curly hair in the back. And the same thing with Journey. She's got naturally curly hair, and I always envy people with natural curly hair. I got perms. I had perms all the time. To get that big hair, I had to have perms. I always envy them. But the people with curly hair want straight hair, so who knows? Nowadays, you can have straight hair or curly hair, no matter what your hair's like. My sister used to get perms, and it tore her hair up every time. Every time she got a perm, she pretty much had to cut her hair short. And she would keep doing it. She'd keep doing it. So a lot of her school pictures, are really good. She was in band, and so she had a few pictures in the yearbook, and I don't think she had pretty hair until her senior year. But my mom always kept her hair short. I don't know why. She kept mine long, but she always kept her short. She when she went to the army, she had went away and she got stationed in Hawaii. And in the process, I was keeping her son because her husband was too busy cheating on her and um, having parties and drugs at the house and all that kind of thing. So she'd gotten leave and she came home, and he had gotten another girl pregnant. So he had made a contract and made her sign it saying that she would take him to Hawaii with her, and that she would pay for him to get an apartment, and then he would pay for his rent after that, and made her sign it before she could see her son. He held a son against her, and so when she got here, um, and she signed that, he took the boy and he wouldn't let her see him. And so we had talked to the policeman there in our town. It was a small town, and I went to school with him, and we told him what was going on. And it's like there's no set custody in the case, so there's nothing he could do. The only thing he could do is he told us that talk him into letting him bring him over to my house and letting him visit with Elizabeth or Kathy. And once he gets there, her to grab the baby, go to the room, and then threaten him to call the police if he didn't leave. That way, she had actual visual custody of him, or she had him in her hands. There's nothing he could do because she had possession of a kid. And the next day, we took her to a divorce lawyer. They started the divorce proceedings, and she got her custody really quick. He was only working as he delivered newspapers, and that's all he did. He had one job in the morning, that was deliver papers. It only took him a couple hours. He made minimum wage. He couldn't pay their bills. That's one reason why she went in the military, because she was tired of being broke. And he basically wanted her to take care of him. He was a real winner there. But because he was only making minimum wage, she was only entitled to a little over $100 in child support, and he didn't even pay that for years. It took the state of Oklahoma a long time to find him because he had moved to Texas. Once they found him, they garnished his check, and he would move around jobs. Um, he changed jobs a lot, so it always took him time to find him. But that didn't work because he still had to pay that back child support. So when the kid turned 18, he still paid child support on him for 2 more years because of his back child support payments that were never made. So young men that think they can get away with it now, it's hard to run from the state now when it involves child support. Because when me and Lee, we'd separated. I think like this is the third time that we'd separated. Of course, this time wasn't on purpose. This was, because of my mom. And one time the kids were younger. Elizabeth White was like 5 or 6. Casey was 7, something like that. So the kids were fairly young, and um, I was working days at the time, and so I had to have daycare. Well, I wasn't making enough to pay for daycare for 2 kids. Megan was old enough she could stay by herself. Megan and Jason both were. Um, Megan was like 13, 14, and so she took care of Jason. He was old enough to where he didn't need a lot of care. He just needed supervision. So I had 2 kids in daycare, and I couldn't pay for it, working the job I was working. And so I applied for state aid to help pay for my daycare. Well, because we were separated, he was giving me money, but he was giving me cash. And even though I wrote out receipts, they still wanted to garnish his check. So they started garnishing his check. They'd send me the check, I would sign it over and give it back to him. That's how much of a hassle it was. And he was giving me more money than what the state made him pay. We tried to keep it as amicable as we could. He got the kids anytime he wanted. He worked during the week, but if he took vacation or something, he always come and got the kids and spent a couple days with them. He'd always get them at least every other weekend. There was times where he had family down, and so he would get them, a couple weekends in a row. So he had the time with the kids, and he did what he was supposed to do. I did what I was supposed to do, and yeah, the state makes it so hard now. The men that think they can get away with it. The only ones that are getting away with it are the ones that are taking jobs off the books, not paying taxes. It's the only way they can get away with it now, because if they file taxes, then their taxes are garnished. You got the curly hair. I always wanted the curly hair. That's the way Brady's was, the oldest grandbaby. He had curly hair on the sides and part on the top. His top part was more wavy, but it was a pretty wavy. And then when his hair got to his shoulder, she decided to have it cut. It was cute long, but yeah, you couldn't tell if he was a boy or girl. She cut his hair, and his hair went straight. And as y'all know, he's a mixed baby. So for a half black baby to have straight hair is very unusual, but he's got the straight hair. Sawyer, he's got the curly hair. It's not tight, but it's just enough to where I think it's adorable. She cuts his hair short on the side, and then he's got the curly on the top. And it's just so cute. Y'all seen my pictures of them earlier. My babies are beautiful. I told myself I was going to write things down that happened during the week so I could talk about them during my life. And I keep forgetting. It's like I'll remember. I'm like, okay, drill out in your mind that you're going to talk about this. And then I can't remember when I get here. I'm trying to think. I got the moving, pay meds, Elizabeth's graduation, pictures, love. Brady last week, I think it was after Tuesday when it happened. They come in. I normally try to take off their shoes and socks because they like to take them off, and by the time they get picked up, we have to look for them. So try to get them to take them off when they get here. Brady didn't want to take off his boots, and I said, okay, but if you take them off, you bring them to Nana. So when he took them off, he brought them to me, and he went and sit down and was watching the tablet. And he came back to me, and he put his foot up on my chair, and he said, Nana, smell my feet. They were reeking, and I'm like, oh, that's nasty. And he started laughing. And he kept putting his foot up there, and I kept putting it down. I'm like, get that away from me. And so I had to, I told Brady, I said, let's go tell Gigi to smell your feet. So he went in there, and he like, Gigi, smell my feet, and stuck his foot up there in her face. And she's like, oh my God, kid, you need a bath. And he just started giggling and laughing. He didn't have socks on, so they were in his boots. And so, you know, y'all know what I'm talking about, but when you wear shoes without socks, after a while it develops that odor. And so it transferred over to his feet. 2 months old. I think Brady was close to 7, 8 months by the time Elizabeth cut his hair for the first time. Sawyer was almost a year because he had, he didn't have the tight rows, but he had tight enough rows to where he was just starting to get that good fro going on. I have thick hair too. It's it's kind of thinning out some now that I've gotten older, but it's still pretty thick. And Megan's got the thin hair, and she hates her hair. And I was to the point where I was wanting to um, go have it thinned out, but once I started looking into that, I had a lot of people say, "Oh, don't do that. It screws up your hair." So I never did it. I got to get out some more 310s here. I'm running out. But I really liked my hair when I had it permed because I could style it. And so I always had the big poofy hair in high school, but that was the style. Oh, shoot, I just spilled crap, 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 crap. I'm a mess here. Oh, yay. Put on my clothes first. Yeah, my hair was good for the big hair. Once I get moved, maybe I can find my wedding album and show some of my wedding pictures. Because I think that was the biggest my hair ever was. But it was so pretty. For in them days. I don't know if I told y'all last week, but the kids' new thing is now when we go into the front room, they'll hide behind the couch to try to scare my mom. And they'll get there, and then Sawyer start giggling. And mom will be like, where's the boys? And the more she says that, the more Sawyer giggles. And then they'll poke their head up over the sofa. And she, oh no, you scared me. They would giggle and then run to her. It was so funny. It was so cute. And then they, sometimes if mom's still in bed and they don't hear the TV, they'll run into the kitchen. And then when I come around the corner, they'll go boo. And I have to act like I'm scared. They scared me the first time. But after that, I had to pretend to scare them. Their thing this week, oh, it killed me yesterday. They had gotten my lap, and for some reason, Brady had gotten on my armchair, and so I pretended to push him back. I had onto his hand, and I went like that, and he went back a little bit, and I brought him up, and I go, whoa! And then he started going back, and he'd go back, and I'd pull him up, and I'd go, whoa! And then Sawyer got up there and had his hand in my left, and I had Brady's in my right. And they'd go back so far, and I struggled to get them up. And so I got to the point where I just slowly lowered them to the ground. And then they started doing flips over the chair. I'd lay them down gently until they got to that point, and then they'd kind of roll over. It's like when they get started on stuff like that, they don't stop. It's got to go on and on and on. It's like with his stinky feet, that went on for probably 15 minutes, and that's when I finally said, let's go have Gigi smell your feet. And then by the time we got in here, he had gotten preoccupied and it went off his mind. But I have to do stuff like that because they just want to go on and on. Them being boys, some of the stuff they want to do with me hurts a lot. They climb up on my lap, and Sawyer's gotten this habit to where he wants to jump, and when he jumps, I always groan when he does it because he hurts me. I'm like, you're hurting Gigi. Now he just goes, sorry, and then turns around and does it again. Oh, you hurt Gigi. Sorry. Jump again. And we've been teaching them, please, thank you, you're welcome. And my mom, she keeps candy for them. After their nap, they get to go in there, and she's got miniature chocolate bars. So after their nap, they go in there and they get one candy bar, and we've been getting them to say thank you and welcome. So when Mom gave them candy, I said, what do you say? And Brady went, thank you. And Sawyer goes, you're welcome. They come up to me because I keep my drink. And they'll drink theirs, and then they'll want mine. Or sometimes they don't even want their chocolate milk. They'll want my drink. And they'll come up to me and go, eh, 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 eh. And I'm like, no, what do you do? And Sawyer will go, please. So now I've got him to say, drink, please. You go, drink, please. Now when they get picked up also, I'll say, see you later, alligator. And then Elizabeth will go, after all, crocodile. So we're trying to get them to do that. They haven't quite picked up on that yet, but give them time. I need more glue. My diamonds aren't sticking. That's me. I want my gray hair. I want gray hair. Gray hair in our family is beautiful. I love my mom's gray hair. I'm not getting gray hair as fast as she did. I like my gray hair. But yeah, I was talking earlier, Angie, that I used to use Sun-In. I don't know if you know what Sun-In is, but you spray it on your hair, and the more time you spend out in the sun, the lighter it gets. I was telling them that my sophomore year of cheerleading camp, I had orange hair because I overused the stuff. It was really pretty color there for a while. And so I kept wanting to get that same color going, and I overused it and turned my hair orange. So my cheerleading pictures, I have this shorter orange hair. There are still okay pictures for orange hair. So when we do get moved, I might not go live that first Tuesday. Being over there, it just depends if I can get everything set up. If I move Saturday and clean Sunday, I'm sure at the same time I can get my husband to help to get everything set up. So I'm hoping to do it, but there might be that slight chance that um, it can't be set up. But I'm going to try my darndest to do it, but that's still 2 weeks away. As far as that goes, I could move the camera sooner, and I could move it that Tuesday, the week of, or the Wednesday. But I'm not sure. I know where I want my easel to go. I just don't know if it'll fit with my chair and my end table. So I'm not for sure how that's going to work out. So I might have to move it around. You like what name, Angie? My hair's frizzy on top. I have the long hair, but I've got a lot of damage to it because I keep it pulled up in a ponytail. But when I had my perms and colored my hair a lot, I always did them shower oil treatments to where, I didn't have the breakage, but I hadn't done that in a long time. The ones I liked were kind of on the expensive side, so back in the day, I had a little extra money. Maybe I can do it too. There's another good shampoo and conditioner out there. I don't know if y'all know it, but it's called Wen, WEN. And it's like when you wash your hair and that stuff, your hair tingles. And when you wash it, you get that squeaky clean feeling. And then even the conditioner makes your hair tingle and it makes your hair so soft. That stuff is expensive, but I'm going to start getting that again. Now, I used to use all BioSilk products. I've got the shampoo that I use now. I ran out of conditioner, so I had to buy a different conditioner. Um, but then I have that BioSilk oil that I use every time I wash my hair, and that keeps it real soft. But it doesn't help the breakage like the Sawyer. Yeah, I like that name. He was actually going to be called Landon, and I really liked that name. And when she called me, or when I called her after we left the hospital, a couple hours later, she called me and asked me to bring her something. And I said, "How's my Landon?" And she goes, "Well, it's not exactly Landon." Like, what? He's been Landon for the last 4 months. Yeah. It's like when we talked about the baby, we always talked about Landon. She changed her name, changed his name. But it's hard to get out of that habit because we've called him that for 4 months before he was born. But I like Sawyer too. Of course, we call him Saw Saw. But, the older he gets, the worse that'll be. That'll, we won't call him Saw Saw anymore. And I call him Nutter Nut. So I don't know where that come from. Just one day I started calling him Nutter Nut, and that's all right, Jennifer. I was just talking about my Nutter Nut. Yes, you do. See Rich. Try to remember to make sure it's showing. I think y'all get a better view of my painting with this covered up, don't y'all think? It'll make the move. All my last minute things are going in a box. Other than the painting will be stored with the other ones. But as far as the stuff I use now, that'll all go into one box. Like my medicine, my bathroom products, my diamonds that I have out now, that'll all be put in one box. That'll go in my envoy, and that'll be the one box that I unload. That way I know where everything's at. And my mom's doing the same thing. Of course, she can't take any medication into the facility. All that's handled through nursing. So she has to get rid of everything that day that she's taken. She can take her morning medicines up until when she actually gets physically moved in, and they'll give her her medications from there. She can't even keep cleaners in there. They'll clean her apartment once a week. They do her laundry once a week. They'll come in and change your linens when they clean a room, and they'll wash your linens. But she's making her own box with her bathroom needs. That way, she gets moved, she at least has that to where she can take a shower, that evening, and no habit, not have to go look through boxes. Because we're only paying the movers to move. So she would have to do all the unpacking, or we'll have to do all the unpacking. We'll have to put her pictures up. Maintenance will come in, like if the outlet quit working, they would come in and fix that. Or, if the ceiling fan in her living room quits working, they'll come fix that. They just do basic repairs like that. They don't do anything as far as helping her move in. But she can't even keep Rolaids or Tums or even antibiotic cream. She'll wake up scratching her arm, and she's made sores here and there, and so she'll put the antibiotic cream on in a Band-Aid. Well, they don't even really want her to really have Band-Aids. They want any needs taken to them. I don't know. I haven't seen Jeremy's in a while. He was working on a flat table. Did he get a new one? I haven't made his lives in a little while. But this is a regular easel desk. So I'm not for sure. He comes in every now and then. We can ask him if he shows up. She can't keep bleach or really any cleaning supplies, not even Windex, because Windex has alcohol in it. She can't take any alcohol. She's got this $30 or 30-year-old bottle of tequila that come from Mexico, and she found last night, her and Megan was packing her room and they found it. I'm like, oh, I get that. And she goes, no, you don't. And I said, I don't think you can take alcohol in there. And she goes, I'm sure I can. I'm like, okay. Today she was told she can't. And I looked at her and I said, ooh, 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 I get your tequila. But it's 30 years old. But stuff like tequila only gets better the older it is. Oh, wow, Angie. Mine is only one height. I can take the wheels off and make it a little shorter. But I had my chair that I have is adjustable, so I can get a good fit and it not bother my legs. This is see through. I don't know if you can tell, but it's glass. It's see through glass. So I'm sure it's probably the same or close to the same. It's like if she's got something that requires something like antibiotic cream, they want to look at it and make sure it's not getting infected. So they can keep an eye on it when she needs to change out her band-aid so that it's not getting any worse. It's just a way for them to keep an eye on it to make sure it's not getting infected. Yeah, she picks her arm or scratches it, and she does it in her sleep, and she'll scratch it for so long, and then it'll open up, and then if she doesn't cover it up with a band-aid, it just gets worse. Like I said, she'll just wake up scratching her arm, and she'll if she scratches the same place enough, then she develops a sore there. But she can get the doctor order to say, antibiotic cream at night or as needed, and they'll keep it on the cart for her. So, it's available to her anytime she needs it. Um, in any over the counter medication she can't have, but she can have a doctor's order saying that as needed. It's kind of, they're really picky, but I understand why because, if another patient, they're all supposed to be cognizant enough to where they can take care of themselves, their basic care, get dressed, they don't need diapers changed, stuff like that. They're incontinent, they have to be able to take care of that themselves. Um, but if somebody does get in her room, like say she forgets to lock it, anybody can go through her room and get stuff they're not supposed to. Windex has alcohol in it, so that's one reason she can't take the Windex. She can't take bleach, but she really doesn't need to because, but he said they'll do her basic cleaning every week. The only thing they won't wipe down is they won't dust like her pictures or any knickknacks that she has. So they told me that I could bring it in when it needs done and we can clean it as long as I take it with me. I can go up there and have meals with her. Uh, 3-course meal. Well, not a 3-course, but two-course meal. A entree, dessert, and something to drink for $5, which you can't even buy a burger and fries now, even at McDonald's for under $5. So $5 for an entree and dessert is not bad at all. So I got it at Amazon. Um, oh, let me look here. I bought a chair at the same time. So I'm not for sure which one was which, but I'm thinking the price. I'm going to say it's under 100. Let me look real quick. I have to go through my Amazon orders. I wish I could remember. If I think Angie, if she has too many problems with it, um, it could come to that where the doctor could um, order that for her. It was only showing my orders for the last 3 months, and this was ordered almost a year ago. So, be just a second. Thank you, Jennifer. It's gonna load, so there it goes. As soon as I set it down, it starts loading, and then I hit the wrong button. There we go. It's not ordered. It's not giving me all of 2019's orders. There it goes. I didn't hit apply. Okay, Jennifer, I hope to see you Friday. You going live Friday? There it is. It's my son calling. It costs $82.99. So it was within reason. Here's the picture of it. You can probably get a better look there of what it looks like. And you can see the glass and it being clear. And there's the price. It's backwards, but it's $82.99. Good night, Jennifer. Hi, Tia. I'm doing good. How about you? My husband was bummed because of the move. He was so looking forward to it, moving this weekend, moving Friday. He was going to take off Friday afternoon and get me moved because mom was moving Friday morning. And when I told him, he was just so bummed. He's so ready for me to come home. He's so lonely. Elizabeth, the deal was when Elizabeth moved in that she cooked, he cleaned, but she got to the point where she wouldn't even, if she opened up a can of like vegetables or soup, she would leave her can and the lid on the counter. And he told her that he wasn't going to clean up like that he would wipe off the counters and wash the dishes. But she could clean as she cooked, or halfway clean up after herself. And so she hasn't cooked in a long time. So he's been cooking for himself and doing takeout like 3 or 4 times a week. And he's just so ready. They, he said they'll play in the front room, and the whole time they're in the front room, she's on her phone. So he's frustrated. I don't know what he thinks will make it better when I get there, other than I'll be cooking for him. And he knows, that I clean as I go. I don't wipe off the counters and stuff like that, but, I throw away any trash, and, I'll put the dirty dishes in the sink. She'll just leave them scattered out on the stove. He's picking up the kids' toys a lot because she'll just leave them out. I said, I don't think that's going to change because I'm going to be in the bedroom. I said, I can't handle being with them all day and all night. I said, I'll spend the day and come in and talk to you until you want to start reading and watching your TV. And once you want to do that, I'll go to my entertainment room and dine paint or just watch TV. Shut my door, close it all out. But he's so skinny. Like I said, he's 140 pounds wet, if that. He's 6'2". He's tall, skinny. He only eats one meal a day, and that's supper. Um, Sometimes for breakfast, he'll stop and get donuts or cinnamon rolls, something like that. Or he'll take crackers or something to snack on, or get a snack out of the vending machine at work. But he normally has only one main meal a day, and that's supper. And Elizabeth's not here a lot of times till 6 o'clock, and he gets off work at I think 4:30. So when she does cook, he's eating so late. I don't know how I can improve that much because of watching the boys, but I guess I could, with my mom not being there, I could probably pull it off pretty easy. Go in there, start separate like 5:30, have it done around 6 o'clock. Feed the boys, feed Lee, and then Elizabeth, if she gets home too late, she'll just have to warm it up because I'm not going to make him wait till 6:30, 7 o'clock to eat. That's just too late for him. He needs a meal pretty quick. But yeah, Elizabeth and them have been doing a lot of takeout, like pizza and McDonald's, and they leave their cups laying around. And I'm like, that's not going to change because I'm there. He said, yeah, but I'll have somebody else saying it to her. Maybe she'll get tired of saying it to her, and her and Malachi find a place to move. I said, I'm not going to nag her about it. She knows what she's supposed to be doing. She's just not doing it. And I don't want to rag on Elizabeth. She's a good girl. She's a hard worker. So proud of her for going to school. He just wants me home. We're tired of this. Ready to be back together. And thinking that we were going to get to move this weekend and then to have to wait another 2 weeks. And we can't move and pay the rent here at the same time. So we didn't pay rent here. But, it would take them a week or two to get an injunction to have us evicted. And then we'd have 30 days from there to move out. And we plan on paying them for this month's rent. We just can't, she's got a deposit and she does have to pay so much for food and she has to pay so much for rent. That's not near as much as what she's having to pay here. She'll have, $200 to $300 left out of her check where she can do things. But she has to have a deposit and all that kind of stuff. And she wouldn't have it if we had to pay her bills here for another month. And we weren't going to wait till the 3rd of next month to move. No way. Neither one of us wanted to do that. And our lease expires anyway. This was the last month of our lease. So we just owe this month's rent. So, we can send them half of it or a quarter of it one month and a quarter of it again, do that and pay them off. They won't like that, but hey, if they tell us they don't want it paid that way, then we won't pay it, because they decline payment on it. Say, I want that in writing. Because if you're making payments on something, by law, they can't do anything as long as you're paying something. When me and my husband got in a real bad jam and we had talked to a lawyer about bankruptcy, and he was like, because I had a lot of hospital bills, because I had all them stays in the hospital with pneumonia and stuff. We had insurance, but, you still have, the percentage that they don't pay for. With me being in the hospital 2 or 3 times a year, plus having 2 babies after that, we had quite a few medical bills, and we were going to file for bankruptcy, and we went and talked to the lawyer, and he says, if you send them $5 a month, they can't do anything to you because you're paying them what you can. I'm like, no. And he says, if they refuse a payment because you're not paying enough, he said to get that in writing, and if they try to do something, you can take that letter and say they refuse payment. So if they refuse payment, then you're not obligated to pay it because they refuse. But that's what we did. The hospital bills were all combined. It was one charge, and we sent. If we needed to, we only sent 20. One month we might send 100. It took us a while to pay it off, but we got it paid off. It just we at least sent that $5 in. It was normally 20, no less than 20 that we sent in. We're supposed to be they called for 2 to 4 inches of snow in the area that we were at yesterday. And today they changed it to sleet, possible rain. It's sleeting out there now, so our snow turned to sleet and ice. So I'm bummed again, no snow. And Punxsutawney Phil, I know I said that wrong. Punxsutawney Phil predicted an early fall or early spring, so we might not even see a snow this year. The Panhandle and stuff got big time snow last week, but they get they get a couple good snows a year, and the area we're at, we're in Tornado Valley, and there's something about the wind velocity here. I don't know. I just know it's sleeting out there, and I hope we don't lose our electricity. The one good thing is it's an apartment building, and apartment buildings, because it affects more people at once. That's one of the one areas they work on quicker because it affects more people in a square, like in a square mile. There's more housing here. Whereas a block there might be six houses. An apartment there's a hundred units here, so 100 units in just a few. Not even probably maybe a half mile, if that, scattered out in a half mile, because they do have some apartments across the street. So, but yeah. And if it gets too bad, we can always go to the house if it has electricity. When Casey was alive, because she was on a feeding pump and required oxygen every now and then, we had that paper filled out at the fire department. And if we lost electricity, they would bring us out a generator. And we had to do that 2 years. Um, One time she was 5. At 5, she was on a machine because she had a bad grand mal seizure and she quit breathing. I had just went in there and she was blue, and I had to shake her around. We called 911. Um, After that, we had a machine put on her at night to where it ran under her back and it clipped on her finger. And if her oxygen level fell beneath a certain amount, the machine beeped. So, that was dire necessary for her to have, for us to have her have. And they had brought it out that winter. We lost electricity. And then when she was like 10, but we can't do that now because she's not with us anymore. So we just have to figure it out like all others. I wish we had a house with a fireplace just in case that happened. Plus, I like to curl up. Who wouldn't want to curl up under a fireplace? Dead of winter, ice around you, snow around you. Love that. We had a fireplace in one of our houses, and it was so nice. The couch was not too close to it, but just sitting there on the couch, cuddled up in a blanket next to the fire. That was awesome. But going back to Casey's machine, um, we had her on that because we weren't, at that time we were doing everything we could to keep her alive. And she got sick one time, and she was in the hospital for about 2 weeks. And they were talking, life support, what we wanted to do and what we didn't want to do. And, at that time, we had to talk things out, and we talked about not making drastic measures. If she needed CPR, yeah, but, as far as putting her on any type of life support, we weren't going to do that. We had the paper that said that. And after that, me and my husband talked and said, that if she's going to die, we'd a lot rather her die in her sleep than, sick in a hospital. So then we had her taken off that machine at night. I don't know if that sounds cruel to y'all, but, she was severely handicapped, and, she seemed joy in her life. She was such a happy baby. But, we just didn't want her to suffer. She was so sick, and it was a hard decision for us to make, but it, it scared me a lot at the beginning after we took her off of it. It's like I had to prepare myself every time I went into her room in the morning. It's like, what am I going to find? What am I going to find? How am I going to react? If something happened. When she died, Lee was the one that found her. So I'm glad I didn't have to go into the room and see her like that. He wouldn't allow me in the room. He just said, you know, you don't want to go in there. Don't look. And so I didn't get to see her till we had her viewing. So that helped me. But after we took her off that machine, it was so hard walking into her room for a long time because I was afraid I'd walk in and find her dead. And that's what happened. She went to sleep one night and she just didn't wake up the next morning. They said she didn't have a seizure. If she'd had a seizure, she'd have had some kind of mouth sores or a tongue rash. So she didn't have a seizure. They said she just went to sleep and didn't wake up. So she basically, went in peace. And, for her to die in peace, gave us peace that she didn't, have to suffer sick in a hospital. That baby girl was in the hospital so many times. But anyway, it's 9:56. Time to say goodnight. Hoping by next Tuesday I'll have the 310s done in this area. That's my goal, is to at least have that much done. But didn't mean to get so depressing there at the end. It just kind of ended up in that kind of story. But Casey was a happy baby. Um, we had her for 19 wonderful years. You could, she loved, she had a sensory problem. So, she experienced pain, but she had been in a lot of pain before, it upset her. She had a high pain tolerance. And so you could walk up to her and you could just bang on her chest, kind of like Tarzan, and she would just giggle and laugh. She's in a room when my dad walked in the house. He would go, "Where's my Casey girl?" from the front room, and you could hear her just laugh. So she recognized voices. She was a joy. She wasn't just Olive Garden. But hi, Cat Love Books. We're ending chat. Thank you for popping in and saying hi. It was a fairly good night, I feel. Fairly good night. But yeah, I'm going to call it a night. Hope to see y'all next Tuesday. And I'm going to try to write things down as they happen during the week. That way I have more to talk about. My grandbabies, I have a lot to talk about. I had a lot this week with the move and stuff going on with my pain med doctor. But good night, everybody. I'll see you next Tuesday. Night.